Hey, how you doing, Eve? How have you been?
Hi.
I'm good. This is Alexandra. It's my friend Alexandra.
Yeah,
Hi.
pleasure to meet you.
Good to
Uh,
see you.
I feel like have we met before?
I'm not completely sure actually.
I could have sworn you used to work at Roosters.
I
did,
did.
she did.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Back in the days, the Roosters Rest.
yeah. Holy shit. How's
How
how's
have
life
you
been?
been?
It's pretty good, not too bad. Um, so I don't know if you've heard the news. My running for mayor, and
Oh shit!
Ooh.
No.
yeah.
I think I knew that you were considering it. You
Hmm.
were joking about it, but it's a reality now.
It has been, yeah. It's been a bit of a roller coaster. Up until it's been a roller coaster, I'd say, up until the point that I realized everything is so fucked that if someone like Osvaldo or Pred ends up at the helm, it's just gonna get worse. So I'm gonna be rather blunt, Eve, and and you know, just I'm gonna paint this entire picture, and there's gonna be a lot of fuck this person, this guy sucks kind of stuff. So just kind of be prepared.
Right.
Eva, I just wanted to do a little bit of cell repping. You know what I mean? Dabble my feet back into the city. And I wasn't getting any calls. I'm like, what the fuck? And that's when, I get this call from Eve, or not from Eve, Fiona. And she's like, hey, I could use some help. The PD forced me to become a hostage at a cash exchange. And I'm like, what? They're like, yeah, like I was inside cash exchange, and the person's like, we don't got any weapons. So she's like, what the fuck? So she walks out, and the PD tells her, we don't care, you need to go back in. And Fiona's like, the fuck? So, that's her side of the story. Was there more to it? Who knows? But as I go to the police department with Fiona, and I ask for the report. I get a FOIA. No, the report doesn't exist. So I tell her we're gonna leave a victim statement, and then subsequently, I'm gonna ask for a FOIA. And this dispatcher starts talking down to me and Fiona, saying that we're not going to get a FOIA for 5 days. And I'm sitting there like absolutely baffled. Like, is this person just being like a prick just for fun? Because we're here writing the statement, and why can't you just give it to me? And I hear, oh, well, it's the DOJ. It's our thing, SOP, blah, blah, blah. And I ultimately call it useless. And I find another officer to do it. Now, I end up looking into this because now I'm like, okay, well, next time this happens, I want to be able to point at why that's illegal and stupid as fuck. But I need like something to lean back on, something to point at, be like, this is why you can't do it. So it turns out that FOIA was never in legislation, which meant that if you had a friend, if you knew somebody, and they go to jail, they want to, or they're in the cells, or something's happened, the PD, unless it goes to the docket, is not obligated by law to give the lawyer anything. And apparently, after speaking to a number of lawyers, this has been an issue for months, and they keep bringing it up. They brought it up to Moulton, they brought it up to Murphy, and they didn't do jack shit. So I'm sitting back like, how the fuck did 7 months go by and no one has kicked and screamed? Because without this basic tool, lawyers are completely ineffective. The only thing they can do is go to the police department and beg and plead. And so I start asking around. I talked to some judges. They're like, well, that's what the city council's for. You give them the legislation. That's what the head of bar is for. I'm like, all right, cool. Like, I want to give my suggestions to these people. And, we'll let the magic happen, whatever. Not a big deal. Just write some shit up. I then go to the PD, and I'm like, listen, guys, I got like 7 clients. I need the FOIAs for them. Like, look, I'm going through the proper channels, getting this changed. But, maybe in the interim, you guys can just like, hand me some of this stuff in a couple days. And I first talked to Slacks, 45-minute conversation. And he says he's the guy to fix it. I waste 45 minutes. He tells me I got to go to Ruby. I'm like, all right. I talked to Bailey, Judge Bailey. He's like, well, you got to talk to these guys. I talked to Ruby. Ruby, well, I could have sworn she had a head on her shoulders way back. Spends an hour listening to the concerns in a very, it's hard to paint the aura. It was like I was there to like snake her on something. That was the vibe. And Eve, I came in there like, hey, here's a problem I'm facing. And we find a middle ground. And she didn't give a shit. But when her ears perked up? When I brought up the example of, sorry, just one sec. Nino.
You're good.
Yo, Nino.
Hey, Flippy.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
I need to be able to word something very importantly.
Okay.
Very carefully.
You're going to kill someone, and you want to tweet something? You want to make sure it doesn't come back to you?
No, I'm going to go to war with the cops.
Oh, that's... So you want to do
Put
Magdump
allegedly.
season?
I want to...
Put allegedly.
Listen, I want to make sure the cops don't come to Mirror Park. So what we're going to do is we're going to fucking put blockades on each side of Mirror Park.
Okay.
And we want to like say like they're not allowed to be here, but like at the same time that I feel like they could probably try to hit us with like treason and stuff.
Why? They probably could. I mean, given the current political climate, you could be facing things like that. Hypothetically, if you were to do these things. What happened? Why is this happening?
Den Shiesty.
Oh, Den.
Yeah, like a week or two ago, he pretty much called me and he was...
You know my opinion on how some of the police are acting, but why make the entire PD pay for because of Den?
Because it's starting to pay off.
Oh, okay. Well,
we have 2 cops.
Or
we have 2 cops on our payroll now. They're offering us $5,000 a week so they can come fuel Mirror Park.
Really?
Yep.
Holy shit. I wish I could give you a good answer, but with the way that things are worded, you could be facing treason, and then it's gonna be Ripbozo. So I don't think you want to say anything. Oh fuck! Listen, brother. There's not a good way to do it right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you so much.
You
Bye.
take care. Anytime. Goodbye. Jesus fucking Christ. So yeah, if you've seen like the crazy side of me,
Yeah.
I was honestly went with such good intentions speaking with Ruby and trying to come from a perspective of like, I'm a lawyer, you're a cop, can we find a middle ground? She didn't give a shit. The only time she gave a shit is when I mentioned that the FOIA process is they had one copy for the lawyers and a completely different copy for the PD documents that I got from the judge, and her ears perked up because she has a crusade against a dispatcher named Tilly. And she wanted me to say that Tilly leaked something. And it was so strange, right? Like there's such a monotone conversation, and then all of a sudden, like it's like, oh, personal vengeance. And I picked up on that, and I was kind of like, the fuck? And the second thing she told me, I got a client that's been robbed 40 times by Chain Gang, documented
Jesus
by the
Christ.
police department. When they search his name, they gotta like page through it. This guy had his firearm stolen. Like 4 times or something. One of those guns wasn't recorded. Is it his fault? Is it the PD's fault? Who knows, right? And she goes, well, he paid $10,000. Why, like, you know, it's his responsibility. And I'm like, okay, but can we find a, like, you know what I'm saying? There was like, it was an attitude of like, fuck everybody. They're all criminals in one way or another. And that really set me off. And I thought it was, and so I wrote off the PD and I said, you know what? I'm going to go to Murphy and we're going to do this right. We're going to make the PD understand that the law matters and the people matter. I call up Murphy and Murphy's like, what do you want, Nino? I'm one of 3 people that voted him into the head of bar.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, are you good? Like, is everything all right? Concerned. Because I could hear in his voice. I don't know. I'm getting hunted by Siobhan and Max. Like, okay. All right. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. Look, there's something I want to bring up in regards to FOIAs. I don't got time for that. And I fucking chewed his, I went at his throat. This guy had the audacity, not just on that phone call, but in court case, say all the lawyers are whiny and I don't got time for this shit. The guy who's supposed to represent the lawyers didn't give a fuck.
Ain't got time for the lawyers.
And then all of a sudden I get a call from Crane. I meet him up in Polito. Guy walks in like I called him. Like I made something. Like I caused the problem. That was the attitude he had. And this old Joe Biden looking ass comes up to me with his fucking wrinkly face with a like, what the fuck are you doing attitude? For what? For asking for documents to do my job and protect. Like, there's a lot of wild, crazy shit I've done in my lifetime. Like some really scummy shit. This was the most innocent thing I could have ever possibly done. And this guy's asking me, why the fuck did I wake him up? I didn't call you. Apparently, the PD at this point is complaining that Nino's asking for FOIAs. I don't know what they're scared about. I genuinely don't. I can swear to you up and down, Eve, like, you know, hand on God or like whatever. And everything that I hold, like, I didn't do anything. I was just asking for a FOIA, and
You're
it's like
asking them to do their jobs.
that's it. It was to this day, to this very moment, I don't know where this energy is coming from. It's so strange. It's like it's almost like I just like discovered like that, like the aliens are running the government, like some like crazy conspiracy shit. Like it's surreal. And so in this conversation, like it was the guy's talking down to me and all this shit, and I'm just like, he's asking me all these like questions, and I'm just like, why? So it really boiled down to this. I'm like, this isn't in legislation. We can't get these things. And his response was, well, have you read the Molten process? I'm gonna share you a copy of it real quick. Give me 1 sec.
Molten process. Molten was like around for the first term and then disappeared. No, is this something he came up with in the first term?
When you read this, you'll see how bad it is. This is the thing that protects citizens. What's her Twitch name again? Oh my god. Oh my god, I'm having a brain fart. Chat, help me. Oh wait, it says Eve Summers. Well, that makes it easy. Why can't I send this to you? Give me a sec. Sent you a little
That should be good. And this is active?
Yeah, this
Like,
was
this
written
is
like
in-
7 months ago, not in legislation. So effectively, the PD never had to give you documents. Those lawyers that waited 45 days after the crime was committed to get the documentation, meaning they could never defend their clients, they kept getting stonewalled, and there was no recourse. You couldn't sue the PD. If you today, right now, Eve, went to jail, and over some bogus charges, until I went to the docket, the PD didn't have to give me anything. They could continue stonewalling me. There was no recourse. So when I brought this up to Crane, he was like, well, it's not supposed to work like this. They know that. I'm like, okay. Then why do they think otherwise? Why do they think they get 5 days? Why do they think this and that? And there was no answer. It was just kind of like putting the grievances of the matter on me for just bringing it up. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, like someone's house is burning and it's like, why are you telling me the house is burning? I didn't want to know that. Right? So
Such an inconvenience. Now they have to put out the fire.
yeah, precisely. And it was such an odd proposition to be staring at the guy who's supposed to be looking after the justice in the city, being like the most principled singular tool used by lawyers to make forward momentum isn't working, and being just so nonchalant about it. And the opposite of it, being angry that there is an issue with the people bringing it up, the people that are affected, the people that protect 99% of the city from injustice. And so I managed to get him to agree to a meeting and get it changed. He says he's going to go on Mount Chiliad, work on it, right? And
Is this Crane?
Crane, yep. I'm like, okay, good. You know, I'm gonna pick my battles, right? Because he doesn't agree, like, we shouldn't be able to get warrants. Can't know. We agree on that. There's some other details, like he doesn't agree that lawyers should know, be able to FOIA a warrant or know what the charges are. But I'm like, you know what? I'll fight that battle later, right? Like one battle at a time. So he's telling me he's working on it. We meet this past Tuesday, a couple days ago. So we've already agreed this is going to get done, and he just wants feedback. 3 hours, Eve, we spent at the news center, and he's memeing about judicial lines because Soze's in his head about, I don't know if you see Soze around, but, you know, apparently he's got his brain all wrapped up. And I'm standing over there just like, let's get this moving, right? And I opened the conversation, as I have been. I don't think I've been nicer in my life. I tell him, like, look, I'm going to be doing a lot of pushing, and I fully expect you to, like, push back, right? During, you know, this review. He reopens up the conversation of, why do you need FOIAs? Give me examples. Tell me who the suspect is. Name the lawyers. All this, like, egregious, like tactics that only work for a 15-year-old, like in a debate, like in one of those like high school debates. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have this information at hand. I don't have, like, access to these documents. I mean, there was a certain point where he was challenging me on what profiles that may have inappropriate things written in them. And he's like, give me some examples, as if I am a judge or a cop and I can see profiles readily. And ultimately, I dressed that motherfucker down. And I told him, shut the fuck up and start writing. Because I was sick of it. Right? Now we got a new FOIA legislation. And Eve, it turns out the man plagiarized Bailey's work, who had actually written the draft the day before.
Oh.
So what the fuck happened over those 3 hours?
Oh.
And I didn't believe it. I didn't believe it until Bailey sent me the actual draft, and he just reworded it. It was like when I was in fucking elementary school looking at Encyclopedia Britannica, right? And being like, oh shit, I got an essay due. Let me just copy this in my own words. And it's absolutely asinine. I asked Bailey, how are we letting this happen? This is a system in which everyone thinks one man is writing it all when it's someone else. And Bailey tells me, like, well, he doesn't want the credit. And I'm like, it's not about that. Because if you got a question, I got a question, someone else has got a question, don't you want to go to the author and be like, can you explain this? Not to the author's, like, arbiter or whatever you want to call it. But you might be wondering, like, why this story? This whole thing has inflamed me into being looking through the legislation, realizing it's so just absolutely terrible, and getting pushback after pushback over just being able to defend people's like basic right to do things. And that's when I said,
every single legislation that's come out has been very self-serving towards two people, Max and Siobhan. Nothing else. Nobody else.
Well, also Murphy Braun, he raised their pay up, and the second is he passed legislation for his girlfriend.
Who's his girlfriend?
Some musician, who, by the way, broke up with him the following
Oh,
meeting.
April?
I think so.
I heard that she broke up with him at the council meeting.
Yeah.
Like she stormed him and broke up with him. Yeah, every single piece of legislation has not been to the benefit of the citizens of Los Santos.
Yeah. You're not wrong. It's I cannot fathom when you start reading some of the stuff written, how poorly written it is, how unexercised it is, and the feeling that, like, I think, genuinely speaking, I think these individuals met up once a week for 5 hours, and in that moment took whatever was affecting them directly or whoever happened to speak in their ear and said, oh, that's the biggest problem in Los Santos, and just in that meeting wrote something up. I'm getting rid of all of it. Everything I need to make up for the last 7 months. And my plan is as follows, Eve. Number one, I want to bring transparency. And what that means is I want the people to have a voice, either via referendum or something where they feel they can see what the council is producing legislatively and have at least a say in it to some degree. How that's going to look like still's got to get figured out.
Would that be, let's say, bringing back voting for legislations that you want passed or not?
I absolutely want that.
I do miss that.
Because then you see what's coming. You're like, oh shit, I care about this. And and
then you know how people really feel as well.
Precisely. And it tells you how good the council is doing, because the effectiveness of the council is how many bills you're passing. And those bills need to be written in a way where people are backing it. And obviously there's the caveat of like, well, if something's like pro-crim versus pro-cop, well, you put it in a referendum. You package them together. You know? You lose something, but you gain something. How does this look? I'm going to go even a step further. Is that these lawyers are right currently under the thumb of one man. I want to enable these lawyers that were quitting, and I brought some of them back, right? I'm getting them re-encouraged. And I want to establish, like, call it a bar association or whatever, where they work together, and given the fact that they have clients and they know their clients' needs, enable them to be writing legislation that matters to the people that they represent. And then they can work with the other lawyers to make sure, like, hey, is something missing here? And so the council is getting new stuff hitting their desk that's already 90% completed. That just kind of makes sense, right? Why have 5 people writing the law when you can have lawyers actually, contributing through the people? It makes sense. And then the third thing is the Department of Commerce, which I don't want myself to be just hitting approve, deny, right? I want a department of business-minded individuals whom have look over these proposals and give guidance back. Either approved with reasoning or denied with reasoning. And that is available for the public to see.
Help.
Help, yes.
Have you read The business legislation?
It's dog shit. I want to get rid of it. It's literally like the government owns everything and we can completely bust into your business for whatever reason we feel. It is a stick, not a carrot. I want people to say, I want a business license because look at all these cool things I can do. Not, I need a business license, otherwise the FBI is going to bust into my door.
It's not just that. Like, I feel like any person who's trying to start a business is easily going to get overwhelmed because they have to understand the tiers that comes with it, and it just plainly said that you can't be a felon, you can be a felon and you can own a business. Like, I don't like the way that's written at all.
It's
I don't
lazy.
think legislation should be written like that either.
No, absolutely agreed.
Like, hey, it's okay for you to do crime and own a business. Like, I feel like it can be written a bit more discreetly as well.
I am looking to sever everybody's head at that console legally. Minus Kanta. Though Kanta is stepping down for someone else. I'm actually going after Crane as well. I think he's too old for that position. He's too far gone. In his own words, he gave up a long time ago. And I'm very, very fixated to get into office, and eventually when I do leave, make it a better place for the next mayor to and the city to like extend from a legacy, one that I can sit back and say, look, I gave something back. And that's one of the reasons I want to talk to you, Eve. This Department of Commerce is a very big component in driving a need that the city has desired for a long time. And I think between your background and me knowing you're someone who I can trust, I would like you to lead that up. If you're interested.
For the past 7 months, I've been hoping to see that somewhere along the line, that business would actually take a precedent in the city, because a majority of things that civilians want to do is they want to connect on people on a level where they can offer people something that makes them happy. If that's something as small as giving them a service, or, making something for them, and, just on a basis of making people happy through business. And I've sat back and that just has not happened. I want people to feel like they can run a business and it actually goes somewhere. And I've sat back and it's just not happened. And I'd love to be able to make that change.
Hell yeah. I want to see it as like, I've been approached with some ideas in regards to it, but I'm going to be honest with you, Eve, I've just kind of disregarded a lot of it, because there is some people are going to look at it as like an authoritative, like, component, bureaucracy. I see it more as like a beacon of hope for people that have dreams. And that's what I want that Department of Commerce to look like. They're like, hey, these guys are here to help us. And
I want to make sure that every person has an opportunity to do what they want in the city. I've always been that person, and I'm not going to stop being that person. And if I can build something up so that everybody can approach, the mayorship, the council, the department, and they know that they be able to achieve their dreams, I want to do that for them.
That's why you're the perfect
person. I want to help
person.
you do that. Yeah.
Hell yeah. This got me excited, Eve. We're back at it, huh?
Nino, I fucking hate politics.
Oh my God, I hate politics too. Trust me, I did not want to do this.
But if it's for the greater good, I can come back swinging.
Hell yeah. I'm gonna let you cook on this. My plans, I haven't really like publicly announced yet. There's 21 groups. I've got Lumber Union, Cypress, Changang, Hydra. Hold on, let me open up the list.
The real question is, how are you doing with the other storm, Nino?
I got C4 on my side. Other storm, quite good actually. But it's hard to say, right? Because I'm not in the other storm. But pretty much so I'll go through it. So C4, I'm locked in. Cypress, I'm locked in. Hydra, I'm locked in. CG, I'm locked in. Civ Gang, 50-50. I got Raya and company. So everyone but Eugene. Lumber Union, I just locked them in. BBMC, I locked them in. Saints, I'm reconvening, but it seems pretty locked in. Hades, oh yeah, that's right. Hades, I'm locked in. I'm working with someone named Kit Acha. Have you met her before?
Yeah, Ray's girlfriend. She's a lawyer now, correct?
Yes. She's an
Ex-PD?
ex-cop, and I've taken in as my like my shoe-in for, if that's the right word, for secretary, what is it? Chief of staff?
Geostaff.
She's been a vital asset in understanding the PD concerns and has been the foil to my tear them all down, because that's how I feel about the PD right now, if I'm going to be honest.
That's good. Question though, when you announce, what is the competition looking like? Because you have to consider who you kind of want to build up as well alongside you, because that person is going to end up being your deputy mayor as well.
Very true. So there's Osvaldo and Pred. Pred has an active warrant, and I don't see how he's going to garner any votes. I could be completely off base, but him and Osvaldo have been bringing up my name. I haven't even mentioned this. I'm out there talking to people and thinking about how to build the mayorship. And the way I'm attacking this is let them bring me up, so they're fighting for number 2. I think Osvaldo's going to garner enough votes that he'll come in as second. He is a real challenger, though, because when I think back with his campaign with Lang, he garnered way more votes than I would have ever imagined. So
yeah, it's because he was I think he targeted the next storm as well, but my schedule allows me to I changed up my schedule a bit, so I'll probably be around next storm a lot, so I can talk to groups who are usually not around. I can go fishing, talk to those single-minded people, see what's up with them, and just see what's up as well. Because next storm is surprisingly where you will find a majority of your votes who's going to swing it for you.
yeah, I think you're right about that. A lot of how do I put it? Right now, it's like the people that are around, 90% of them are around every day. But next storm, it's like more,
It's a lot of new people who come in every day who usually can't. And that's usually the people who are going to want to vote as well.
Very true. I think I had contemplated that a deputy mayor get put into place, but we were afraid of splitting the vote. And I think that's way too dangerous, right? Especially how do I put this? I don't want to say, like, Osvaldo's really good at farming votes. He's like the fisher of votes, if I remember. And if he really puts his heart into it, splitting the vote would be a very dangerous play. I think the alternative is Osvaldo, I do think, wants what's best for the city. And I think with enough people backing good legislation, because I'm not looking to go do some devious shit, you know what I mean? Like, find a way to funnel class 2s in my backyard. And because the legislation I'm aiming for is going to inherently be desirable by the people, I think Osvaldo voting against what the changes I'm looking for would only hurt him, because I will be transparent when I'm pushing and it'll be obvious if he's not voting for it. So I think keeping him close is going to be the play. At least that's what I've got in my mind right now.
I mean, at some point, you know, when we are more sure of how the votes are going to swing, you can always approach him for a partnership. Because that is what's going to happen at some point. He can start going around when he realizes he's going to lose. He can start going around and campaign for you and for him.
That's a really good point. That's
It's
a
just the
really good
reality.
point.
You'd have to, because when I voted as well last time, I didn't vote for the person who was going to win. I voted for the person who I wanted to have deputy mayor seat as well, because I knew Max was going to win anyway. I went and saw who I wanted in the deputy mayor seat, and I knew there was going to be a underdog. So that's how you kind of have to approach people as well, because the voting can be very strange that way, right?
I think you're right.
Because a lot of people, like some people are going to have that mindset, right? They're going to think, oh, Nino's going to win anyway. I'm not going to vote for him. I'm going to vote for the deputy mayor. Some people do think like that.
Yeah, you're right. You know, I think the biggest thing is that you can't even there's no ranked voting, which is too bad.
Yeah, it would have been better, but I guess it makes it more unpredictable this way.
That is true. You're not wrong about that. The alternative, and this is kind of something I was mulling last night going into this morning, is securing this vote means, and then quite frankly, even if I think I can fit some of those seats. I spoke to Kanta yesterday, and she's fantastic. And it sounds like who she does a nod to is going to be in a very similar, I think so myself, the person I put in the seat, I think the doctor vote is going to come on our end. And then I think I can position a new head of bar, which takes majority at that table. So even if it is Osvaldo or even if it is Pred, I think it's going to be very easy not to worry about that voting. And if I can secure this term, I think the move would be develop the deputy mayor that we want in the next term. I think that's probably the safest route. And I think if there is ever a point where there's contention, let's say with that deputy seat, for any legislation that needs to be passed, extreme transparency and propaganda as to why certain bills need to pass and making it very clear who's voting which way. None of us are going to need to lift a finger. The people will kill them themselves.
That's probably the easiest way to do it.
Could you imagine that? A pro PD bill coming through, and then one guy's voting on it or whatever. That ain't gonna last very long. You saw what Chang'an did.
Yeah.
I mean, shit. You just got to throw the information out and let the dogs eat the meat.
Yeah. The city works in, one of two ways. One, they turn on itself, or two, they turn on each other.
Yeah, not wrong. Well, speaking of,
Look at water.
Yeah,
Holy
shit!
Yeah.
Oh my God, the timing right there. That's crazy. Yo, nah.
Yep.
That was great.
Yo, what the hell just
Eh,
happened?
Oh, with what? Fuck the government?
Yeah, what the fuck?
Oh, that's a daily thing he does.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, he
Okay, I
hates
thought
those.
something
I mean,
popped
he
off.
literally shot them. So he might as well twat that every day. Anyways, 15-minute warning reminder. Manor meeting at the golf course.
Man, meeting 15 minutes golf course. All right, sounds good.
All right.
All
Bye bye.
right, I appreciate it, Ashley.
Of course.
Take care. Bye. Oh,
I don't even have my notifications on.
yeah, I turned them all off a while ago. It's crazy. They work a little bit better. I remember like, you know, first couple weeks after the borders opened, they used to make my brain start melting.
Oh yeah, it was pretty bad,
yeah.
especially when they came in like 3 at a time.
Yep, not wrong. This has got me really excited. It's crazy. Wasn't too long ago, run that little mechanic shop, had a dream, and now look at what things are.
Yeah, sometimes you have to step away to see the bigger picture, right?
Mm-hmm. I think if
Well,
anything, the way
yeah.
that shop was just taken away over nothing, I think is a part of me that wants to
Yeah.
say, I don't want that to happen to anybody else.
Anybody else, yeah. That's also that kind of, it even like I put in my business proposal, I think a week and a half ago. It's still just on pending, like nobody's looked at it. And
Yeah.
I feel like that should speak volumes too. Like if the civilians are that important to the city, then show it, have
Yeah.
due process.
Absolutely. I think a lot of them are turned into crime. There's this negligent firearm thing that I'm tackling right now is insane. People are, getting endless warrants. Apparently the DOJ didn't know anything about it till it was brought up. The cops are literally like, oh yeah, you have a lifetime warrant. Like, that's not even constitutional. Like, the fuck? There's
Jesus.
people losing their gun licenses to racing. And I brought it up to the DOJ. I'm like, why would you lose your license for nonviolent? If someone's got a gun, it's to protect themselves.
This is the same issue that happened 5 years ago with me as well. I got all of Lang's charges and we had to fight it, and my weapons license got taken away after, like,
Oh yeah, I remember that.
it got taken away by Bloom, and I didn't even no weapon was used in the crime, but he just took it away because he could. And I feel like that's a big problem. It's no due process, and they just, because they can, they will.
Yeah, it's just not. There's a reason for checks and balances, Like, if someone is caught doing something and it's shown and proved, then absolutely, right? Everyone's expecting that. But over the belief that they might have done something, that's just not fair.
And why is the PD operating on every civilian is a criminal and assuming that they are?
Yeah.
When that mentality should have been left at the door 5 years ago, and the second that they joined the PD now getting rehired, because I don't want to be pulled over and immediately be treated as such.
Yeah.
It's not the right mentality to have. And that's why, they probably get shot at every traffic stop,
Yeah, no, that's exactly it. It's, as I tried to explain it to deaf ears when I spoke with the PD, is that I don't want them not to be able to do their job, but I want them to understand that when they're putting someone in cuffs and sending them to jail, they have made a decision that they know and can prove that they've done those things. And that if at that moment in time, they didn't have the 5 minutes to write something into a report with the 5 times as many tools as they have today than people used to have way back when, something's wrong. And that's, I think, the cusp of why some of the negative energy gets generated against them. I think it's simple change. It just requires a little changing of mindsets, and hopefully this little movement might do that. But you never know, really.
I hope so. I hope so. The funniest thing that I think happened is that everything that myself and Lang and Tim Collins tried to do 5 years ago with Aegis was silently done with Max's terms, and nobody batted an eye. Max placed himself in PD as a commissioner. That's kind of what Aegis was doing. They did the same thing with the business legislation that Aegis was trying to do, but in a better light. And they did all of those things, and nobody batted an eye. There was no resistance. And Crane greenlit everything, even though he was our worst contender. And all I keep on hearing is how bad it was what we did 5 years ago, and we barely scratched the surface in trying to do all those things.
Oh my God. It's I mean, the reality of Los Santos is people get their mind made, and that does not change for a lot of folks. You know, Eve, you know what's crazy? I got I got some friends that are close in the around the PD. You know, the day after I asked for the FOIAs, didn't say one like nasty thing to any of them. Apparently high command was walking around saying that I'm a snake and be careful. I'm a dangerous person. I don't remember doing anything in the last God knows how long.
Because you're asking them to do their jobs and you're a dangerous person? That's crazy.
I don't know. It's crazy. But then again, maybe they should be scared because now they got a reason to be.
Yeah, I mean, they woke up something that they probably should have just complied with.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, I got to get prepared for this meeting. Eve, I am very excited for this. Thank you so much.
Yeah, me too. I'll check in with you every day.
All right.
I'm gonna work hard next storm for those votes.
Hell yeah.
And
All
you
right.
should get an ad. Vote for Nino ad.
Oh, I'm getting a website put together with all my talking points, so that anyone that goes to it can be like, boom, here's everything he's doing, you know? And
Nice.
yeah, thinking about getting a little cartoon made too, like, you know.
You should. And a logo, a slogan, whatever.
Ooh, I like that. I like that. All right.
Our slogan was always, you know, the thing that people always said, like ours was "fuck Cerberus." You know, say the bad things before before people, you know, take it from you, basically.
Yeah, not wrong.
Like Mr. K, if you take hashtag "fuck the government" while you're running for a government position, I'm pretty sure that would go over really well.
Yeah, no, actually, not wrong. Oh man. Yeah, I'm a cook on that.
Everybody would retweet it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's kind of the move, you know, because like with the PD right now, like I'm playing that very carefully, like making sure I'm pulling segments of them aside so they can hear from me exactly what I want. Because the impression I get is the PD naturally is going to be anti-Nino because I am the opposition, which is fighting for crediting their arrests.
The thing is, like, I don't feel like the PD is going to be our swinging vote. Like, who cares?
True.
Like, honestly, and are they going to want to vote for Pred? Are they going to want to vote for Osvaldo? Like, what is their best options at the end of the day? Like, you can probably individually go talk to people, but I do not think that you should waste your time at a PD meeting, because if they still have the same mentality as 5 years ago, I'm pretty sure that they made people cry when they went to go and talk to them of the way that they were acting.
Wait, who's this?
I can't remember who it was. It was either I'm pretty sure it was Nancy who went to go and talk to them for Lang's campaign, and they were so fucking horrible to her.
I
And-
think I remember that. Yeah. See, I wasn't around during that time. I remember some of it, but not that particular incident.
Yeah. If yeah,
Wait.
that's what happened. And if the mentality is still the same,
At that
if
moment,
that gang mentality is still the same, and I call it a gang mentality or herd mentality, then I don't really think it's worth the effort, because I
No.
feel like tackling people individually is probably where it's at.
agreed. And I know for sure there's a lot of good cops in there. They
Yeah, 100%.
and I think they want to do right by the people, and I think they want to, you know, they want to, how do I put this? They want to be good cops, like not the kind that, you know, not the kind you sometimes you see popping up on the news or like YouTube videos.
The play would be to get a PD member to talk to them.
Well, so it's interesting you say that. The name Nakota popped up. I've been
I'm actually really good friends with Nakota. Like, I'm really, really good friends with Nakota.
really.
Yes.
Could you help set up a meeting with him?
I could, yeah.
Because I think pushing him and perhaps another 2 people into the PD liaison position.
He
And
was
having them-
PD liaison.
That's what I heard. And then he got ousted
Mhm.
by Cornwood.
He got treated like trash. For probably being the most realist person on the council besides Cantor, and probably Edda as well. For actually standing up for, you know, what they believed in instead of being, you know, yes men
Mm.
for Max and Siobhan. You know, and if you're not saying yes, you're out.
And I'm not surprised. I mean, I think I mean, every time I look at the legislation, it makes my head hurt. I'm just like,
Yeah.
this is what they did in 7 months. All right, I got to get going.
You're good.
All right, Eve, I'm available
I'll
whenever.
set
I
up a
appreciate. I'm
meeting.
very excited.
Me too.
Good to see
me
you.
too.
Good to see you too.
Bye, Nino.
Take care. Oh my God. I'm so glad Eve is on board. There is no better person to take the helm of the Department of Commerce. There's literally no better person who's more fair and thoughtful that Nino can trust.